Hi there. In this video, we're going to start looking at Cloudflow templates. We're going to discover what are Cloudflow templates, we explore some of them, and we're also going to see a demonstration of working with a Cloudflow template. Cloudflow templates are pre-configured flows built with a specific purpose in mind. They are relatively easy to implement, they've been tested, and they've been written for a wide range of connectors. All templates have triggers and connections, but it's the amount of actions that have been put into the template that makes them really valuable. So we'll see the process for creating, editing, and adopting a template flow. The final point with flow templates is that they can be really useful for training purposes. They show you different connectors, different triggers, and also different techniques for working with cloud flows. And we'll see this during the demonstration. On screen is a very small subset of the flow templates that you could make use of. There are hundreds of these templates, and it's relatively easy to search for them. Let's now move over to a demonstration of how to work with Cloudflow templates. At the moment, I am looking at a SharePoint document library based on a Teams site. We've got 3 folders, 1 to review, 2 rejected, and 3 approved. Our objective here is that when items are put into the to review folder, it's going to start off a flow. An approval step will take place, and if the item is approved, it will be moved into the approved folder, and if it's rejected, it's moved into the rejected folder. And the flow will look similar to the one that's shown here. The trigger is a SharePoint item being created. We have an approval step. We have a true/false condition. And depending on whether it's approved or rejected, it will be moved to a different folder. Let's start the process of building this flow. I'm now in make.powerautomate.com and I can select on templates. There are many templates to choose from, and they use all sorts of connectors. Let's move back to the top. I'm going to look for an approval template, and I'm going to search for a SharePoint approval within there. I'm going to select the start an approval when a file is added to SharePoint. And the flow is indicating that there are certain connections that it might need to use. Those connections exist within this environment, so I can select continue. I'll need to tell it the SharePoint site and the list and the file. I can select on the folder, select there, scroll down to the documents, select on shared documents, select on the arrow next to shared documents, then the arrow next to general, and I'm going to select on the to review folder. I now need to indicate who to send the approval to. And although I could select create now, I'm going to edit in advanced mode. I'm going to re-input the when a file is created properties only. However, the expected behavior is it would carry over from the previous page. And this step is now complete. I'm going to scroll down further within this Cloudflow. I need to go into the create an approval step and indicate the approver, and then I can collapse the parameters. We can see here that there is a send an email step, but this only runs under certain conditions. If I select on this and then go to the settings and then select on the create an approval step, which it refers to, I can see that it only runs if this fails. And this is to ensure that flow will continue to run under a range of conditions. we're going to scroll down further within this to the condition stage. I'm then going to put a small 10-second delay in here. Add an action. And then delay. I can select on this. I'm going to tell it to delay for 15 seconds. And this is to ensure that the SharePoint file isn't locked, because this runs very quickly. The next part of the process is to move the SharePoint document. I'm going to hit the plus here, add an action, and I'm just going to search for move and select on move file. I need to tell it the site address and also the file identifier, which I can use as dynamic content. So use that. I'm going to type in identifier. And I can see that I've got an option to select that. I'm going to select that there, and I need to now tell it the destination address and the destination folder. This is a different folder to before. So select the arrow onto general, and because this has been approved, we can select the approved folder. We've also got to select another option if a file is already there. I'm going to say replace. I'm now going to save the flow again. I'm going to add in another delay. I'm going to select on the delay, right click and do copy action, and then select the plus option and then paste an action. I'm going to do the same thing with move file, right click, copy action, then hit the plus icon and paste an action. This time round though, we're going to change the folder. Move to the shared documents, select the arrow on the right, then move to general, and then move to rejected. The flow is now complete, and I can deselect new designer so that I can test this out. I'm going to save and switch. This is the same flow, it's got the same condition included, and we can test it out. I'm going to do this one manually, so it's going to wait for something to happen. Select test. I'm going to move into the to review folder, and I'm going to upload a file. Go to files, and I'm going to select on this file. Open. And the file's now been added. The flow has now started running. I can see that the approval exists within Teams, and we could also see that it exists within Power Automate. I'm going to approve this and then submit. We can see that the flow has run. I can select on the condition. I can see that it went down the left-hand path, and I can see that it's moved the file into approved. Let's go and have a look at SharePoint to see if that's worked. This is fantastic. The file has been approved and it's moved into the approved folder. If I go into approvals within Power Automate, I can see I don't have any at the moment, but if I look at the history, I can see that the request to review the new SharePoint file was approved. This takes us to the end of the video on using flow templates. They're extremely useful and quite powerful. So I recommend that you experiment with these and see if there are any flow templates that work for you and your organization.